Dear students, today as part of our paper personality development, we are going to discuss stress management. So, to understand stress, we have to first of all understand the sources of stress. Four important sources are identified as contributing for stress in human beings. They are money, work, family responsibilities, and health concern. So, money is a major problem. So, in countries like India, which are categorized into the developing segment, poverty is a huge problem, and people starve and they go to bed without food. And how come their mental health will cooperate and keep them in rest? That is most required. So peace of mind is something which is most expected by every human being. So without peace of mind, we will have a kind of pressure which is by psychologists said as stress. So this pressure has to be avoided. So if there is good supply of money, if you are having a good job and the working environment is very happy, and if you are having a good family and your responsibilities are shared by many people, and you don't have to worry about your responsibilities, and apart from all this, if your health is of good condition, then you may tend to reduce the quantum of stress. But unfortunately, many people, they undergo this stress because of lack of these four things, or either one of this. So people are worried by one thing more because than others, because for some people the stress has become a routine part of life. So for instance, if you take a poor man, he may not have money, he may not have a job, he may not have any family responsibilities, he must be a drunkard, drinking liquor and falling at streets and worrying about nothing. And his health is also of poor condition, but he worries about nothing and he does not have any stress at all. And he is somehow out of the society, if we are to correctly state his question. So such people do not have any stress. But if somebody is not having adequate money, he is worrying a lot and causing lot of trouble to himself. So this stress is something which causes a problem to oneself. So if you are lacking in money at one point of time, then you are undergoing a kind of stress. And if you borrow some money and somebody is willing to give that money, then whether you are required to pay interest, or whether you may be able to return the capital amount that has been borrowed, these all occupy your mind and create stress in your mind. So similarly, in India, we have the problem of getting good employment. The entire system in India is to motivate students to occupy a good position in the employment market. So from first standard or even before, we motivate students to study well and occupy a good position. So without this, your purpose in life is said to be defeated, and therefore you have to work hard. And the job market, if it denies you, then you will be in a problem. See, take for instance my own career. I am trying to put myself into the services of the armed forces, but unfortunately I am in the teaching profession. So I think I would have better performed in the armed forces than as a teacher. So my mind always shifts to that kind of a career, and only I am convinced with the salary they are providing here, and the promotions that are available in this particular field, which is better than the armed forces. So somehow stress is reduced, but my heart goes only for the armed forces and services linked to that. Similarly, family is very important. So in some families, children have very bad parents or parents who are not responsible, and children also become indisciplined. For parents, indisciplined children are causing lot of stress, and husband and wife, they do not have mutual understanding, and they go to the court and apply for divorce, and they undergo counseling and try to sort out their problem, and frequently there are misunderstandings between the couple, and so on and so forth. So family is huge source for stress. It is not that in every family it is happening, but some families with a higher ego level of the couple, they have this trouble of managing stress. Sometimes the bride is well educated or well qualified than the groom, and they do not get along with each other, and it also causes trouble between them. Maybe the bride is a very adjustable natured girl, but this fellow, this groom, is a person with a high inferiority complex, and he may not be able to trust this girl, who might be very honest and very committed to the wedlock that she has taken. So if children are born, then you might have ambition of taking this kid to a particular school, and the fees that the school prescribes may not fit your bill, and you may try to put this child in a very ordinary school, which is not convincing to your expectation. So this also causes stress, and your child, if it is not performing well in academic level, then that also causes problem, and his discipline level and his level of responsibility vis-a-vis the society, so on and so forth, also causes a lot of trouble to the parents. So in our society, parents have to essentially support the children at the least up to they complete their college, which may take up to 21 years or 22 years a minimum. And if you have to financially support your children, then it is a kind of a source, because how to manage this financial situation is a lot of worrying phenomenon for many parents. So health concerns also cause lot of trouble. So what happens is, elderly people in family, they undergo some trouble, and people who do not have much consciousness about their health, they are suddenly taken by severe heart attack or kidney problem or other type of life threatening problems, and all on a sudden the happiness of the family comes to a standstill. This should be avoided, but happy families particularly, they do not care much about all these, and they go on their own way, and encounter such problems, and they are not able to face such situations. So these are some of the sources of stress. Many people, they commit suicide when they are not able to cope up with this stress. So I already outlined that some people undergo illness, health related problems, so on and so forth, due to this particular stress. But committing suicide is something very very avoidable, because life is very precious, not only to oneself but also to the dependents and loving people. Although many techniques have traditionally been developed to deal with the consequences of stress, considerable research has also been conducted on the prevention of stress, a subject closely related to psychological resilience building. This is a term, the technical term in the field of psychology. So this resilience building is very important and is thought to be controlling stress in people. Psychological resilience is the ability to mentally or emotionally cope with a crisis or to return to pre-crisis status quickly. So one day I met a very great sportsman by name Dharmaraj Ravanan. So he is a defender in a football team and he has represented India also in football. So this man Dharmaraj Ravanan, when I am talking to him, he said the difference between me and another sports person is my ability to come back when I leave a particular ball to cross me and reach the goal post. So that is the most required skill in a player, and this skill in Dharmaraj Ravanan made him a captain, and also he was shot to fame because of such nature in him. But unfortunately many people, they do not have this particular quality in them, and they fall at some of the menial problems that they face. So any problem, if you compare with the fellow human beings who have come across similar problem or problems of greater magnitude, then you can convince that what we have undergone is only a simple problem, and therefore you can contain yourself. This self counseling is most important, and in psychological terms, when they speak about resilience building, etc., they tend to point or target only this particular idea that is essential in every human being. So build some kind of self counseling mechanism in you, and you have to talk with yourself, and you have to convince that everything is all right. We have to carry on with what we have, and we have to perform well, and so on and so forth, and you have to move on. Levels of stress can be measured. One way is through the use of psychological testing. So through a questionnaire, you may be asked to answer certain questions, and your level of stress can be quantified through that. One method is the Holmes and Rahe stress scale, in which a rate of stressful life events are questioned, and you are made to answer, and by which uh, your level of stress is quantified and judgment is made. Another is called the DASS, that is depression, anxiety, stress scales. It contains a scale for stress based on self report items. So moreover, changes in your blood pressure and galvanic skin response are said to be symptomatic of your level of stress. Some people even undergo digestion problem when they have stress in them, because your anatomy do not respond well, and your mind is oriented to some problem or thinking, and it is not peaceful, and it is not giving proper command to the anatomy in your system, and therefore you cannot perform well in your day to day work, and your sleep is also affected, and you are not able to speak with your fellow human beings properly, and all these contribute to your stress, and they intensify your health based problems, and they do not provide solution to them. So you have to give self counseling, and you should also try to reveal your problem to your fellow human beings, particularly to those who are very well emotionally linked to you, and they are identified as trustable persons for you in your previous. Psychologists make advices to reduce your anger and also feeling of getting sorrowed very easily. So you have to control these kinds of emotions to be a very balanced human being, and properly oriented towards the requirement of the society. Proper stress management is very important for physiological as well as immune benefits also. So your stress also collapses your immune system, and you may come across various troubles due to that also. Particularly we are now undergoing the corona pandemic related problem, and at this time every nook and corner we are informed to increase our immune level in the body, and therefore stress has to be reduced. Coronavirus itself is producing lot of stress in many people, that is in one hand, but you have to somehow cope up with the situation and avoid stress. So with these observations I conclude my first class on stress management. Thank you very much.